You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You tuned in to G5 Jeff TV, Mr. Support Your Boy himself. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I drop that heat, and all social media is in the description box. Now they finally signed this fight, Danny Garcia versus Shawn Porter, going down summer 2018, and it's probably going to be at the Barclays Center. All big fights are going down at the Barclays Center. I ain't mad at it at all. Now, I know I dropped a video previously saying that this fight was scheduled and I wasn't really excited about it, but as I was talking myself through the video, I realized I wasn't hyped because the winner of that fight, I wasn't fully confident that they was going to try to unify with Errol Spence, or unify, period. And now that I had some time to really think about it, I actually think Danny Garcia would take on that Errol Spence fight. Like, Danny Garcia really hasn't ducked anybody in his career. Like, people accuse him of cherry picking, but like, he's never ducked anybody in his career. So I actually see him taking on Errol Spence, and that's a solid fight. That's a real good style matchup for both guys. You know, neither one of them have to really go searching to try to find the other guy. So I actually hope that fight happens in the future. But Shawn Porter, on the other hand, I have absolutely no confidence that he's going to fight Errol Spence. Like, you know, I like Shawn Porter as a fighter. He seems like a really good guy. Seemed like his father, Kenny Porter, is a really good guy. You know, he's done a great job with his son. But when people bring up Errol Spence, they don't talk like the killers that you know how they usually talk. You know what I'm saying? And they can just come out and they could have said in the past, like, you know, fighting Errol Spence is something that's just not in the cards right now. We just, you know, we aiming to target somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But they came up with all these lame ass excuses talking about, oh, well, you know, I don't know why we're not ranked with the WBC. And y'all know the story. I ain't gonna tell it again, but I found out why he wasn't ranked in a day. All it took was an email to the IBF. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even know who I am, and they responded promptly. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a one-on-one fight for the IBF belt. You know, we upset with them because they dropped us out of the rankings after we lost to Kell Brook. I'm like, motherfucker, if you ain't lose to Kell Brook, then we wouldn't be having this discussion. Like, you would still be the champion. Like, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, Shawn Porter talks about unifying. I'm like, unification involves the IBF. So how do you want to unify, but in the same breath, you don't want to deal with the IBF? Like, he's not making any sense at all. At all. But that's the way they be talking. They be talking in circles when it come down to Errol Spence. If they don't want the fight, if they don't want that smoke, just say you don't want that smoke. You know what I'm saying? You're just going in a different direction, and that's cool. But people jump on Shawn Porter and Kenny Porter because they come up with excuses. With anybody else, when it comes down to Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, they talk like they straight killers. Like, he hopped in the ring with Danny Garcia. He wasn't gonna hop in the ring with Errol Spence. You think Shawn Porter gonna hop in the ring June 16th? Hell no. Hell no. And I'm a big fan of Shawn Porter's, but I keep it all with a bean. Like, they just don't talk right when it come down to Shawn Porter. They know better than Keith Thurman when it come down to Errol Spence. They know better. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get off that for a minute. That part of the topic always gets me a little hype. But real simple question. Who needs this victory more, Danny Garcia or Shawn Porter? Now, Danny Garcia has one of the best resumes in the game. And it's crazy because he has one of the best resumes in the game, but he's known as a cherry picker off of 2 fights. Like, it's crazy. At 140, he took on everybody he needed to take on. And when he moved up, he took on the Kingpin and tried to unify with Keith Thurman. He ended up coming up short. You know what I'm saying? He came up short in that fight. So, Danny Garcia, of course, there's a lot of things for him to prove at 147. You know, he's a champion at 147. and he lost it to Keith Thurman. But I don't think he's really etched his name at 147 like he did at 140. So that's something that Danny Garcia needs to do. Now, to answer my own question, Shawn Porter is the one that really needs this victory more. Because if Danny Garcia loses this fight, Danny Garcia is one of the most popular guys in the game. Part of that is because of him and his fighting style. Part of it is because of his father. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Whatever gets you the popularity and gets you the recognition, then so be it. But Shawn Porter needs this victory bad. I mean, he really, really needs this victory bad. And when people think of Shawn Porter, you think he's a really good fighter. He's one of the top guys at 147. But when you actually break down his resume, he hasn't had a career-defining victory. He became a champion by beating Paulie Malignaggi. Think about it. And I like Paulie. He maximized his talent as a boxer for somebody that had no power. He maximized his talent, maximized his ability. But Shawn Porter won his title off of Paulie Malignaggi. And then he lost it in the first defense to Kell Brook. I mean, he wasn't supposed to lose to Kell Brook. It was a home game for Shawn Porter. Not it was in his hometown, but it was in the United States. Kell Brook had to come over from the UK. Shawn Porter wasn't supposed to lose that fight. And Shawn Porter and Kenny Porter was so arrogant that one of Kell Brook guys was sitting in on the sparring and they didn't kick him out. Like, I'm like, how arrogant can you be? Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And they probably took something from that sparring too, because the way Kell Brook beat Shawn Porter was real simple. He stayed tall and he hit him with a jab and a straight right hand. No matter how much bobbing and weaving side to side he was doing, when you bobbing and weaving, going from side to side, you have to bring your head across the middle to get to the other side. So Kell Brook was just landing a jab, straight right hand, and he was clenching when he had to clench. And some of it was holding, I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? But Shawn Porter, it's not easy to actually control Shawn Porter with just punches, because I mean, Shawn Porter got a big ass head, man. He got a big ass head. That head be swinging all over the place, and he always headbutting people, and like, it's either he's getting cut or both guys is getting cut. And that's the one thing that fears me about this fight with Danny Garcia. You know, he a light motherfucker, so you know he bruise easy, be all red and all that. I could see him getting cut, and I could see Shawn Porter getting cut off of headbutts in this fight. That's something that could really kill this fight, is headbutts. So I'm hoping Shawn Porter keeps the headbutts to a minimum, and he just goes in and just fights hard. That's the one thing Shawn Porter does. He fights hard every single fight. But Shawn Porter needs a career-defining victory, because as of right now, Shawn Porter is the guy that can't win the big fight. Kell Brook, big fight, lost the fight. I don't care what Kenny Porter said. He lost that fight to Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman, close but no cigar. I'm sorry, he lost that fight, 7-5. It was close, 7-5. You know what I'm saying? 7-5. He lost to Keith Thurman. The fights that he's been in, the high stakes fights, he's lost. Shawn Porter needs to win a high stakes fight. They do a lot of talking. They say guys don't want to fight, guys is running, this, that, and the third. But when you break down Shawn Porter's career, he has not had that one victory where you can say that's his legacy fight. And this is Shawn Porter's legacy fight against Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia gonna be okay if he loses this fight, because his fan base is gonna say, oh, well, he lost because of this or lost because of that. And they're going to put him up against another top 147-pound guy. And the Danny Garcia fans is going to be right back on the bandwagon. But with Shawn Porter, if Shawn Porter loses this fight, he's in a really weird position, because this would be the third fight where it's for a belt and he would have lost. And then on top of that, Shawn Porter has that rough and rugged style where some fans don't like seeing him fight. And some fighters don't even want to fight him, because whether win or lose, It's hard to look good against Shawn Porter. Like, you literally got to put your hard hat on and go to work against Shawn Porter. That's not an easy night. Shawn Porter's not an easy night for anybody. Like, let's not get that confused. He's not an easy night for anybody. So his style doesn't even command like a gatekeeper status. And I'm not saying that Shawn Porter would be gatekeeper status if he loses his fight, but I mean, honestly, like, where does he go? Like, seriously, like, if he loses to Danny Garcia, where does he go? He can't fight Keith Thurman. Danny's probably not going to give him a rematch. He don't want to fight Errol Spence. He's not going to cross the street and beat the winner of Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn. Like, where does he go? Like, where does he go? Like, is he better off moving up to 154? He would be probably the shortest 154 pounder in the world. You know what I'm saying? But what does he do if he loses to Danny Garcia? Like, what are his options? He would have to take like a lesser fight to get himself back in contention. And he's already done those with Andre Berto. He did that with Adrian Granados. I mean, hell, if he loses a fight to Danny Garcia, I mean, do you put him in a do or die fight with like a Saddam Ali at 147? Like Josecito Lopez? Like, what do you do with him? What do you do with him? Like, this is a career fight for Shawn Porter in terms of who he think he is as a fighter. Like, he thinks he's elite, but he hasn't had any elite victories. So Shawn Porter definitely needs this victory more than Danny Garcia, and Shawn Porter needs to step up to the plate and get this W for his psyche in his career. Point blank, period. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Please share this video. Support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.